Tip number 1, learn basic movement and gun physics. If you come from faster paced shooters like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, or even arena attack shooters like CSGO and Valorant, the movement and general physics of Escape from Tarkov may throw you off. Especially with the addition of inertia in patch 12.12, movement can feel clunky, but that's mostly also from the fact that you're not quite used to it yet. As you spend more time in raid, make a conscious effort of getting used to moving around, from sprinting, jumping, to straight up just walking around. Even I myself had to relearn movement when inertia was first introduced. The same goes for gun physics. One of the more apparent features of Tarkov is how your gun sways and bobs all around and affects your aim. In most FPS games, your bullets will generally fire at the center of your screen. In Escape from Tarkov though, bullets will go where your gun is pointing. So let's say your gun is tucked on your PMC because you're too close to a wall, your bullets will fire to the side. Same goes with swinging your gun from side to side. If your gun is not pointing to the center of your screen and it's still catching up from being swung, your shots will be off center. Guns with lower ergonomics will have a bigger tendency of the fishing rod effect, where your gun is slowly catching up to the center of your screen after a big swing. So the better the ergonomics, the more your gun keeps up with where you're aiming. Keeping this in mind will help you hit shots better, especially when you're strafing around trying to be an evasive target while trying to gun someone down. Tip number 2, map knowledge is everything. Most of your deaths and losses at the beginning of your Tarkov life will most likely be caused by the lack of map knowledge you have. Maps in this game can be tough because there are a ton of angles you can get shot from. And with how dynamic Tarkov is, it's almost like you have to constantly check all 360 degrees of your surroundings as you keep moving. But the good news is, as you get to know the maps better and you play the game more, you'll start to realize where the hot zones are and which angles to pre-aim or to be a little careful of. It's also very important to know where PMCs spawn, and this will naturally come to you over time as you put in the hours. Knowing where people spawn will help you survive the early stage of a raid. In the current state of Tarkov, spawn rushing is a big thing. Experienced players who memorize spawns tend to either rush spawns or they will anticipate your pathing and cut you off. So this is something that'll help you survive a lot more in the long run, knowing spawns, general pathing of a map, and just overall map knowledge. An additional tip to help you with map knowledge, always have a map up on a second screen or a second device like your smartphone or a tablet. Literally just Google search a JPEG of your preferred Tarkov map and keep that map up until you don't need it anymore. This was one of the ways I memorized maps when I first played. Tip number 3, do quests. Quests are a great way to learn because they naturally progress you through the game. For example, one of your first quests from Prapper is called Debut, and it's going to ask you to kill 5 scavs in customs and turn in 2 MP133 shotguns. In this quest alone, you're already forced to learn several things. Example number 1, it teaches you how to fight scavs, and this will help you learn basic combat mechanics. Number 2, you're forced to learn a map, and this map is customs because you have to kill the scavs in customs. And number 3, you're forced to know what an MP133 shotgun is and where to find them. The Gunsmith questline from Mechanic is also a great way to learn the modding system of Escape from Tarkov. So in a nutshell, do quests. Not only do they naturally teach you the game, but also you get great rewards like money, experience points, and gear. Tip number 4, learn how to make money. This is a tip I never fail to mention in most of my content that caters to newer players. Learning how to make money will relieve a ton of the stress and pressure that involves Tarkov as a new player, such as gear fear and the anxiety of dying or losing. There are 2 basic ways to make money in this game. Number 1, survive your raids. The less you die, the less you have to rebuy equipment and gear for your PMC since you get to reuse what you already have. And the second way to make money, straight up, do farming runs. Farming runs are a surefire way to make money and they're easy to do. It just takes time and effort. I do have a farming video I made in the past which is still quite relevant to this day in patch 12.12, so go check that out. Look at the top right of your screen, you should see an info card to that video. And one more thing, use your scav runs to make money. As soon as you have a scav available, run them right away, get in a map, take whatever you can, survive, and transfer to your PMC. Tip number 5, learn from your losses. If possible, I highly encourage you to record your own gameplay. It's a great way to look back at a moment and see what went wrong and what you could have done to play it better. There are a ton of things I learn from how I play when I watch back my footage. I'm able to answer a ton of questions such as, should I have peeked him? Should I have repositioned instead of holding the angle? Should I have pushed him? Was my crosshair placement on point? Did I miss an audio cue? And so much more. Or sometimes when you look back at a moment, you realize you did your best, it was a good fight, and your opponent just outplayed you. Then take notes from what he did. I personally have improved a lot as a Tarkov player from reviewing my own footage. It's helped me improve my gameplay in ways that no tutorial or advice from other players could help. Like they say, no losses, only lessons. And tip number 6, have the right mindset. Escape from Tarkov is a tough game. It's even a tougher mental game. You're meant to lose and you're meant to die a lot. The running meme in the community is that this game doesn't have a learning curve. It has a learning cliff. It's just such a steep learning curve that it can be so frustrating to us. But trust me, once you get past this learning cliff, you'll be cruising and doing your thing. At the end of the day, Escape from Tarkov is a survival game, and it's meant to do everything in its power to stop you from reaching your goal, and that goal is survival. Tarkov is trying to corner you on the ropes, and it's your goal to survive against all odds.